My name's Richard Tyler. Most people call me Tyler. I'm 27 years old.
So, how was it that you lost your job in the pub game then?
Got into bad habits, got caught out one night, and just the result ended up losing my job, my home.
When I finally did sort of lose the job, sort of hit rock bottom, it was a very, very big change for me, I started to feel really down about myself, a lot of drinking, a lot of drugs involved, very rocky time in my life.
You got some cups in there?
Yeah, mate, I've got loads of them.
Kettle on them.
For a couple of months I was sofa surfing around friends' houses. But I mean, I tried to go out, find myself my own accommodation, because it was something I couldn't really keep on doing. And I was advised by the council about a place called the Amber Foundation. When I met Chris at Chippenham Station, he wanted to interview me in a place that I was in a familiar and safe environment for myself.
Okay, Tyler, so can you tell me a little bit about your drug use at the moment?
I say smoking a lot of pot every day. Yeah, so heavy pot usage. Occasional Class A's, once, twice a week. Yeah.
Do you feel that's got any worse recently, given your situation which you're in with the lack of housing at the moment?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got worse, is it? Okay. You're aware of Amber's rules. I've been through those about how it's no Class A drug use and then 28 days to stop cannabis use. Do you feel that's going to be manageable at the moment for you?
Yeah. No, to be fair, I made the choice that I want to stop, so
Yeah.
I want to change, so I will change.
I wanted to make a difference to myself, turn my life around, start making the change, because I put myself in a bit of a situation. I was down and out, and it was time for me to pull my finger out and get back on with it, get back on with life. First few days that I was there, it was a bit petrifying to start off with. I'm being put in a situation where I'm living with 40 people that I don't even know. But I mean, the whole idea behind it as well, coming back into a routine, getting up at 8 o'clock every morning, having my breakfast, my dinner, my tea, it was quite a thing that I was actually looking forward to, and it just gave me the drive to sort of push myself to get back on my feet again, really. The first couple of weeks were a little bit daunting, because I was away from the drink and the drugs. It was hard to start off with, I'm not going to lie, and I did want to go back to somewhere where I could call home, but I was in this situation. I just had to deal with what was coming for me, and it did me the world of good.
Today, Barty and Paul have come to talk to you about Bhagavat, what they do, and the work you'll be doing at an orphanage once you get there. The likely stuff that
Gareth approached me at some point to just inquire whether or not I wanted to go on to the Bulgaria thing. I was like, well, I'd like to go, obviously. The trip to Bulgaria, I did feel very, very excited about the whole situation, but at the same time, I was petrified, because it was going to be something that I'd never done before. I'd have to travel by plane. That's something that I kind of had to panic about a little bit, and it's new languages as well, so yeah, language barriers are a pain.
Good morning sounds like dobro utro.
Dobro utro.
We were given initial Bulgarian lessons before we were sent off, basically. Very quick lessons that we had in Amber. So I mean, one of the things that we did before we went there was we had a little bit of a trial run of the food. Making up a little bit of it, just sampling to see what we were going to be expecting whilst we were out there. We landed in Sofia. We were taken for a bit of a traditional Bulgarian breakfast before sort of being carted off into the minibus to head to our destination. Being at the main city itself, is full of money, so it looks relatively normal until we got to the outskirts of the city, and that's when things kind of sort of ticked as to how bad things really were over there. There's a lot of poverty. It was just slum houses, people just littering around the streets. I mean, that's the point, where we kind of just sat in silence through the bus journey, sort of kind of dawned on us how bad things really were out there, and we'd never really seen anything like that before. Definitely put my situation back into perspective. You know, I could have been a lot worse than I was. I mean, I was sofa surfing, I could have been on the streets, I could have been living as rough as these people. It's, you know, an experience that has helped me to sort of build my personality back up to the way what it was before.
So, remember when we got there to the orphanage, seeing the kids for the first time?
Yeah, it was a little bit awkward, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, there was a language barrier to get through at first, wasn't there? So that was interesting.
Yeah. I mean, you got that game of football though, it broke the ice.
Right, well, as soon as the football come out, we was all right.
Yeah.
The international language of football there.
It was distressing to start off with, because a lot of these children, they've come from really sort of shocking backgrounds, I suppose. And you kind of get that feeling in the air when you're in there. You're not quite sure how to react towards them, but you know, I mean, they were really friendly. They were happy with the very little that they actually had, and you know, that we were actually going to be there, that it was going to be doing something for them that would make them feel happier about the situation, making their home just that little bit more vibrant. Yeah, it really sort of warms you up inside a bit. Yeah, it was sort of a painting project to start off with. Not only that, I mean, the stuff that we were doing back at the hotel, they were giving us team building exercises. It made me feel quite uplifted, you know, that I was doing something for these children to sort of help give it back, because I'd taken a lot for granted in the first place. And again, seeing the kids in the situation that they were in made me feel like I really sort of, you know, overlooked things, I suppose. But yeah, it filled me with with a lot of joy, you know, that I was doing something that was special to these children, that would be lasting as well. It was a very emotional trip back from the off-go, you know. There was a lot of tears, there was a lot of silence involved, and then we just got back into Amber, and you know, a lot had happened whilst we'd been away. There was a lot of whinging and whining about things that had happened, and yeah, I think the most of us just sort of put our bags down. It's like, we really don't want to hear this.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
How can you live off £110 every 2 weeks?
But that's the way it is, mate. You're whinging about having nothing when they've actually got
You
nothing.
know, we've been out in Bulgaria for 2 weeks. We've experienced things that you wouldn't want to necessarily experience, I suppose. It's made me put things in a different light, if you will. You know, I've been heavily into drink and substance abuse, to being put on a plane, sent over to this foreign country and giving aid to children that really need it. It was something that I'd never really thought I'd do. I'd never really experienced, and it lightened me up, you know. It gave me a kick up the arse, really, to sort of push myself forward and think, you know, I'm not this washed up waste that I was before. I'm actually, you know, it made me feel a bit more special about myself, you know. Since I've been back, I finally got a place. I was offered a place in Bradford-on-Avon, so you know, I'd got my own accommodation, and within a couple of weeks of moving in, I've already got a job as well. You know, it all happened really, really fast. So again, yeah, it was. Since I've been back, I've had that drive to push myself, to get myself forward, and I'm a door-to-door fundraiser. You know, so yeah, heavily charity involved. I'm doing a campaign at the moment for the National Autistic Society. That was one of the things, whilst I was in the interview, they did ask me if I'd been involved in charity work before. The fact that I had gone to Bulgaria, I had done this thing with Bag of At, I think that kind of tipped it in my favour to actually get the job in the end, because, you know, I've got a bit of experience behind me, I suppose. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be going back to where I was 7 or 8 months ago, to be honest. I'm going to try and do my best to stay away from that. You know, I've come on a long way since the person I was before, and I don't want to go back now. I'm happy.